Hi, class. Welcome to Thursday of week 3. So we are officially halfway through the class, and it's flown by, right? Told you it would be very fast-paced class. So this week we do have our midterm project, which I've already posted a lot about or emailed you all a lot about. But I just wanted to make sure you knew on Blackboard, on the left-hand menu, there's a coursework tab. And under the coursework tab, not only do we have our Twitter assignment guidelines, and for graduate students, they have an additional assignment. Those guidelines are there as well. But we also have 2 folders. One is for the midterm and one is for the final project. If you click on the midterm project file, you'll see I have the guidelines. I have the Turnitin link where you will actually go to turn in your paper when it's done. And then I have 2 example papers. And I wanted to remind you that these example papers went beyond the page minimum, which is fine. And feel free to do that. I think these questions are they're open-ended, and so it'll lend itself to longer responses. And it's about you and your online presence and what your skill sets are and what your preferences are on social media. So, I mean, you could write potentially as much as you wanted. And that's fine with me. So, but yes, they did go over what I said this paper target range would be. That's, again, up to you. As long as it's you're above the minimum page number, that's what I'm looking for. But that is due Saturday. And so since hopefully you've already started on that or maybe even finished it, I wanted to mention that the final project is also due in 2 weeks now. So click on that file project folder. I don't know if you've looked ahead, but our final project this semester is you providing content for the Applied Communication Studies Department's Facebook and Twitter pages. And these 2 pages, I don't know if you follow them, feel free to follow them on Twitter, follow our department on Twitter. And to follow us on Facebook. But I know that you all are at varying levels of experience with social media yourselves. So I wanted to make sure you understood that I'm not requiring necessarily that you log in and you link to your Facebook page or your Twitter account when you do this. It's not required. What you have the option of doing, if you are not comfortable actually posting this content, which I would understand because I'm asking you to post as the ACS department, but also if you felt like you wanted to, that would be fine. But what I do require in the final is that you provide the actual JPEG if you are using a photo, or the video file if you are using a small video like a reel or a short YouTube video that you made or something. So provide those in your final paper. And you'll notice that the content that I'm asking you for is just as you're learning about what draws interactions and what gets people on your page to stay and to interact and to comment and like, I want you to think about what that would be for our Applied Communication Studies page. Who is our audience? What would get them interested in our content? What would make them want to interact with it? And impressions is one thing. You want to gain followers and have followers share our content. But I'd love to have interactions on the page too. So you want positive, obviously, content. You want things that will get ACS majors, faculty, alumni, all these people feeling good, united, interested. And what would that be in your mind? So I ask you, what the paper format is: 5 Facebook posts and 5 Twitter posts. Again, you could write the words and post a JPEG in, like, embedded in your paper. You don't even have to do anything on Twitter or Facebook on your accounts. You don't need to. But the first part of the paper, I think, is very important. So who is your client? So I give you the paper format, 1 through 8 sections. Overview of your client comes first. So what are we posting already on those sites, on those accounts? Which posts that we post now get the most likes and comments now? Who are our key audiences? Again, like demographic, psychographic insights. What are, the strategic mindset that you would need for any client when you go into creating posts for them? So what are some interests, trends, and issues that this audience that the ACS department has? What would they want to think about, or what are they interested in right now? What are the objectives of your campaign? If you were to be able to post these 5 Facebook posts and Twitter posts, what would the overall objective be? So think of those metrics. In this past week 2, you guys did some discussion board posts about how you measure output on Twitter. And you went to the analytics page on your own Twitter accounts and you sort of looked over impressions and interactions and things like that, followers, likes, and think of that in those sorts of metrics when you think of the objectives of this campaign. How many interactions, comments, likes, shares, etc. do you want to achieve over the course of these 10 posts? And then you start to create the actual story for Facebook and for Twitter separately. I would love timelines I'm requiring, not love, I would love, but I also required timelines for these posts. So when should these posts be posted? Because there is data on when is the most successful time to post during the day, depending upon what age and demographic you're trying to reach. So I want you to get specific with time and date. How far do you want to space them out? Again, there's data on what is a good number of posts to share every day or every week. And so please make that timeline specific for the ACS department. And so you can either screenshot number 7 in the paper format. Again, I want to modify slightly. You can screenshot your 5 Facebook posts and your 5 Twitter posts, or if you're not actually posting them on Facebook and Twitter, which I would understand, just embed the picture or the video file in your Word doc so that I can view it, along with the caption that you would put. Be aware that on Twitter, obviously, your characters are limited to a 280 max character limit. So your caption will be much smaller on Twitter. And then Facebook character limit is like 63,206 characters. So you could write a lot in a caption for a Facebook post for the ACS department. And then explain under each post why you chose this image or video. And again, each post should have an image or a video, why you chose that particular image or video, and why you wrote what you wrote in the caption. So your rationale is the last part of each post, okay? That's your final paper. So that's not due for another 2 weeks, but I just wanted you to start looking ahead. Again, I fully encourage you to work ahead. It'll keep you sane in this crazy, fast-paced class. And let me know if you have any questions, okay, guys? And I'll see you on Twitter, and I'll see you next week. Bye.